This means that discussions are still ongoing behind the scenes, but nothing has been finalized yet. Stephen Jones also did not say anything about whether George Pickens will attend the off-season program. This program is set to begin in a few weeks, and it is important for team preparation. Still, it is important to understand that these workouts are voluntary. That means players are not required to attend, and many players sometimes choose to stay away, especially when the contract situations are not resolved. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer also spoke about Pickens, and he confirmed that he has already talked to him, but he did not push him to commit to attending the workout. The coach explained that everything is still part of the process. He understands that there is still time before season begins, and he is willing to let things happen naturally. From the team perspective, using the franchise tag is nothing new. The Cowboys have used this method before with several important players. Some of most well-known examples include Dak Prescott, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Dez Bryant. Each of these players was targeted at the same point in their career with the team. This franchise tag for George Pickens in the 2026 is worth of more than $27 million. This is a very large amount of the money for one season. While that may sound attractive, many players still prefer long-term contracts. A long-term deal gives them security, stability, and protection in case of the injuries. Stephen Jones understands this point of view. He openly said that every player wants a long-term contract. It gives peace of mind and guarantees their future. However, he also explained that the franchise tag is a part of how teams manage their salary cap and build strong roster. It is a business decision as much as it is a free football decision. Even though the situation may look uncertain right now, there is a positive history between Cowboys and their target players. In this past, the team has often signed the players to long-term deals after using franchise tag, and this happened with the Dak Prescott and DeMarcus Lawrence and Dez Bryant. Because of this, there is still hope that George Pickens will eventually sign a long-term extension with the Dallas Cowboys. And Coach Brian Schottenheimer showed a strong confidence when he spoke about Pickens. It is said that Pickens loves being in Dallas, and the team also values him highly. According to the coach, there is a clear plan for Pickens to stay with the team for a long time. However, he also made it clear that the business side of the things needs time to be completed. Looking ahead of the next season, the Cowboys already have plans for how to use George Pickens on the field. One important idea is to move him around different positions. This strategy allows the offense to become more flexibility and unpredictable. It also helps Pickens use his full range of the skills. During the previous season, Pickens had the chance to play in the different roles, especially when CeeDee Lamb was dealing with an injury. That experience helped him to grow as a player and understands the offense better. The coaches noticed that he enjoyed this freedom and performed well in those situations. Another important factor in this is his connection with the quarterback, Dak Prescott. Building chemistry between the quarterbacks and the wide receiver is very important. It takes time, practice, and repetition. Schottenheimer mentioned that Pickens has already been working out with Prescott during the fourth season. This is a very good sign for the team, of course. When players train together during the off-season, they build trust and understanding. This connection is sometimes called me-to-you factor. And it means that quarterbacks who knows exactly where the receiver will be, and the receiver understands how the quarterback throws the ball. This kind of the chemistry can make a big difference during the games. Dak Prescott already has strong chemistry with CeeDee Lamb because they have played together for several years. However, the team hopes Dak Prescott and Pickens can develop similar connection. If it happens, the Cowboys' offense could become even more dangerous in upcoming season. George Pickens has also been spending time training with the other teams and other teammates. This shows his commitment to improving and being ready for the next season. Even though his contract situation is not fully resolved, his actions show that he is focused on football and team success. As the offseason continue, all eyes will remain on George Pickens, of course, and the Cowboys fans are waiting to see if long-term deal will be completed in the Dallas Cowboys with George Pickens. And the situation may take time, but there are many positive signs that both sides want to reach an agreement. In the end, this is not just about one player, it's about the future of the Dallas Cowboys as a team. Keeping a talent player like George Pickens could be very important for their success. At the same time, it means balanced financial decision and long-term planning. For now, the story is still unfolding, negotiations are going, and nothing is guaranteed yet. But one thing's clear, George Pickens has already proven his value, and the Cowboys know exactly how important he is for the future. And as the new season approaches, the situation will continue to develop. Whether through the franchise tag or long-term contract, George Pickens is expected to play a major role. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for good news and an even stronger team in the 2026 for the Dallas Cowboys. After once again at the center of the attention during the off-season, this time the focus is on the situation that has not been resolved yet. While a team has made several moves to improve their roster, one major issue continues to create uncertainty. That issue involves wide receiver George Pickens, who is currently playing under a franchise tag after failing to agree on long-term contract with the Cowboys. This situation has remained quiet in terms of the official updates, but the silence itself has raised many questions among the fans, analysts, and insiders. As the 2026 season gets closer, what once seemed like a minor contract delay is now starting to look like a serious problem that could lead to bigger consequences. The lack of the progress in the negotiation between the Cowboys and George Pickens has created a feeling that something could change at any moment. When a talented player like Pickens does not secure a long-term deal, it often leads to frustration on both sides. For the player, there is some concern about long-term security and respect. For the team, there is a pressure to manage salary cap space while also keeping key players happy. In this case, neither side has publicly shown signs of reaching a compromise, and that has only increased speculation about what might happen next. One of the most important voices in this discussion is Ilan Laporte, who has provided insight into the situation. According to him, George Pickens is not expected to report to the team unless a long-term deal is completed. That statement carries a lot of weight because of it suggests the possibility of holdout. In professional football, holdouts can create tension within a team and disrupt preparation for the upcoming season. When a player decides not to report, it sends a clear message that the situation is seriously and unresolved. Because of this uncertainty, the idea of trading is starting to become more realistic. At the first, it may have seemed unlikely that the Cowboys would consider moving a talented wide receiver George Pickens. However, as time passes without progress, the organization may begin to see the situation as more trouble than it is worth. In such case, teams often explore trade options to avoid long-term conflict and gain valuable assets in return. According to reports, if another team is willing to offer a strong draft pick and also commit to sign George Pickens to long-term contract, The Cowboys could consider accepting that offer. A second-round draft pick has been mentioned as a possible return value. In the today NFL market, where wide receivers are highly valued and frequently moved between teams, this type of deal would not be surprising. In fact, it would fit into the growing trends of the aggressive roster changes across the league. One team that has quickly emerged as a strong potential trade partner is New York Jets. The connection between Cowboys and the Jets is not random. It is based on both team needs and recent behavior. The New York Jets, have been very active in making trades over the past year, showing a willingness to take risks in order to improve their roster. This aggressive approach makes them a logical candidate if Cowboys decide to move on from George Pickens. Another key voice in this conversation is Rich Chimini, who has closely followed Jets. He suggested that people should not ignore the possibility of the New York Jets making another move for a veteran player. He also highlighted the activity of the team general manager Darren Muge, who has already completed multiple trades in a short period of time. This pattern shows that the New York Jets are not afraid to make a bold decision if they believe it would improve their chances of the success. Looking at the Jets roster, it becomes clear why adding a player like George Pickens would make sense. The team already has a strong wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, but beyond him, there is still a question about depth and consistency. Young players like Adonai Mitchell have potential, but they are not yet proven at highest level. For a team that is likely to bring in young quarterbacks in the near future, having a reliable and experienced wide receiver can make huge difference. They can help accelerate development and provide stability on the offense. Financially, the situation also works in favor of the New York Giants, as the team has enough flexibility to take on a new contract, which is important if they want to sign George Pickens to a long-term deal. In addition, they have enough draft capital to make competitive offer without damaging their future plans. This balance between the present needs and the future stability makes the New York Giants an ideal trade partner in this scenario. However, it is important to remember that nothing has been decided yet. The situation remains open, and there is still a chance that the Cowboys and George Pickens could reach an agreement. In professional sports, negotiation can change quickly, and what seems impossible one day can become reality the next. If both sides find common grounds, the entire trade discussion could disappear immediately. At the same time, the longer situation continues without solution, the more likely it becomes that trade will happen. Pressure will continue to build as season approaches, and both players and the team will need clarity. For the Cowboys, the decision will come down to whether they believe Pickens is worth of the investment or whether they are better off moving forward with different plan. For the fans, this situation is both exciting and stressful. On one hand, it creates the possibility of the major blockbuster trade that could reshape the multiple teams. In the other hand, it raises concern about losing a talented player who could be a key part of the team's future. This combination of the uncertainty and the opportunity is what makes the NFL offseason so interesting to follow. In the end, connection between Dallas Cowboys and New York Jets is one of the watch closely. If the contract situation with George Pickens does not improve, the path toward trade becomes clear. And with each passing today, the pieces are already in place, including team needs, financial flexibility, and mature interest in making bold moves. As the 2026 season gets closer, this story will continue to develop. Whether it ends with the new contract, dramatic holdout, or blockbuster trade, one thing is certain: the future of the George Pickens will have a significant impact on both teams involved. Plans, analysts, fans, insiders will be watching every update carefully, waiting to see how the excitement is reaching a completely new level. Fans are not just talking about the upcoming draft anymore. They are now dreaming about something much bigger, something bold, something that could completely change the future of the team. The dream is the possibility of the trading for one of the most dominant defensive players in football today, Myles Garrett. For a long time, the idea of Myles Garrett joining the Dallas Cowboys felt unrealistic. It sounds like one of those conversations fans have just for fun without expecting it to actually happen. However, things have started to change very quickly. Reports, rumors, and insider opinion are now suggesting that this move might not be as impossible as it once seemed. What makes this situation even more interesting, in fact, that Dallas Cowboys are in a unique position compared to other teams in the league. They have something very valuable that many teams do not have right now. They have 2 first-round draft picks in 2026 NFL draft. Not just many picks, but both picks are within the top 20 selections. This gives them a level of flexibility and power that could allow them to make a very aggressive move. According to several reports, a possible trade scenario has already been discussed. In this scenario, the Dallas Cowboys would receive Myles Garrett, while the Cleveland Browns would receive 2 first-round picks, specifically the 12th overall picks and the 20th overall picks. This type of the offer is very serious and shows that Cowboys have the assets needed to start a real conversation. Normally, when a team tries to trade for a player of Myles Garrett caliber, they are required to give up not only draft picks but also a key player. However, in this case, there is a belief that Cowboys might not need to include a player in the deal. The reason for this is simple. 2 first-round picks, especially in the top 20, carry a lot of value. In the draft class, where many experts are unsure about the overall strength of the prospects, these picks become even more attractive. Another important factor is that not every team can make an offer like this. While some teams like the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets also have multiple first-round picks, there are doubts about Myles Garrett would be interested in joining those teams. This gives the Dallas Cowboys an advantage as they remain one of the most attractive destinations in football league, NFL. If this trade were to happen, it would be a bold move. It would show that Cowboys are ready to go all in and compete at the highest level immediately. Myles Garrett is widely considered as one of the best defensive players in the entire league. His ability to lash the pass, disrupt offenses, and dominate games could instantly improve the Cowboys' defense. At the same time, the Cowboys are also exploring other options. There are growing reports that the team could be considering a move within the draft itself. Instead of staying at 12th position, they might attempt to trade up in order to select top-tier prospect. One name that has come up in this discussion is Sonny Styles, a linebacker from Ohio State. Sonny Styles has been gaining a lot of attention recently, especially after an impressive performance at National Football League Combine. His stock has risen significantly, and some projections now place him as high as second or third overall pick. Interestingly, Sonny Styles himself has confirmed that he is scheduled to meet with the Dallas Cowboys. This kind of the meeting is very important because it shows genuine interest from the team. It also suggests that the Cowboys are doing their homework and evaluating all possible options before making a final decision. The possibility of the trading up in draft is not something teams take lightly. It requires giving up valuable assets and the risk can be high. However, if the Cowboys truly believe that Sonny Styles is a game-changing player, they might decide that the risk is worth it. While all this is happening, another storyline is quietly gaining momentum. This involves Caleb Downs, as we said, another talented player from the Ohio State. Early, it was widely believed that Caleb Downs would be selected within the top 10 picks without any question. However, recent updates suggest that he might fall lower than expected. This change in projection is largely due to low the safety position is valued in the National Football League. Despite being an important role, safeties are often not selected as early as other positions. Additionally, some concerns about Caleb Downs' physical size and playing style have been mentioned by the analyst. Even so, Caleb Downs remains an extremely talented player. If he does fall to 12 picks, the Dallas Cowboys could find themselves in a perfect position to select him. This would allow them to strengthen their secondary with a player who has the potential to become a star. Beyond trades and draft strategies, the Cowboys are also actively evaluating talent through pro days. Recently, the team had a strong presence in Texas Tech University Pro Day. This event is part of the final stage of the scouting process, where teams gather as much information as possible before the draft. The Cowboys leadership group, including head coach Brian Schottenheimer and several key staff members, attended the event. Their focus was clearly on defensive players, which highlights an important need for the team. Improving the defense appears to be a major priority heading into new season. Several defensive prospects stood out during the pro day, including David Bailey, Jacob Rodriguez, Romero Hayes, and Lee Hunter. These players have all shown strong potential and could become important additional for the NFL roster. Meeting between players and teams during these events are very important. They provide an opportunity for both sides to learn more about each other. For the Cowboys, these conversations help them to understand players' mindset, personalities, and readiness for the professional level. All of these developments show that the Cowboys are preparing for very important moments. Whether it is making a blockbuster trade for Miles Garrett, trading up in draft for top prospect like Sonny Styles, or selecting a talented player like Caleb Downs, the team has many options. What makes this situation so exciting is the uncertainty. No one knows exactly what will happen the draft day. The Cowboys could make a safe or predictable choice, or they could surprise everyone with a bold and aggressive move. For the fans, this is a time of hope and anticipation. The idea of adding a superstar like Miles Garrett is thrilling. At the same time, the possibility of drafting a future star creates its own kind of excitement. At the end, everything will come down to the decision made by the Cowboys front office. The decision will shape the future of the team and determine whether they can return to being true contenders of the NFL. Until then, the rumors will continue, the discussion will grow louder, and the excitement will keep building. One thing's certain, the Dallas Cowboys are the center of it all,
in the entire football world.
Outstanding season in 2025, where he proved himself as one of the most exciting and productive players on the team. George Pickens joined the Cowboys and quickly made a huge impact. In his very first season with the team, he performed at a very high level and even earned a Pro Bowl selection. That achievement showed how important he had become to the offense. Fans, coaches, and teammates all started to see him as a key part of the future. However, even with his strong performance, his long-term future with the team is still not fully decided. The franchise tag allows the Cowboys to keep Pickens for one more season, but it does not guarantee that he will stay beyond that. This situation has created many questions, especially among fans who want clarity about what will happen next. At a recent NFL owner meeting, Stephen Jones, who is top executive of the Cowboys, was asked about the current situation. However, he chose not to give a detailed answer. He made it clear that the team is not ready to share updates about negotiations. This means that discussions are still ongoing behind the scenes, but nothing has been finalized yet. Stephen Jones also did not say anything about whether George Pickens will attend the off-season program. This program is set to begin in a few weeks, and it is important for team preparation. Still, it is important to understand that these workouts are voluntary. That means players are not required to attend, and many players sometimes choose to stay away, especially when contract situations are not resolved. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer also spoke about Pickens, and he confirmed that he has already talked to him, but he did not push him to commit to attending the workout. The coach explained that everything is still part of the process. He understands that there is still time before season begins, and he is willing to let things happen naturally. From the team perspective, using the franchise tag is nothing new. The Cowboys have used this method before with several important players. Some of most well-known examples include Dak Prescott, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Dizzy Bryant. Each of these players was targeted at the same point in their career with the team. This franchise tag for George Pickens in the 2026 is worth of more than $27 million. This is a very large amount of the money for one season. While that may sound attractive, many players still prefer long-term contracts. A long-term deal gives them security, stability, and protection in case of the injuries. Stephen Jones understands this point of view. He openly said that every player wants a long-term contract. It gives peace of mind and guarantees their future. However, he also explained that the franchise tag is a part of how teams manage their salary cap and build strong roster. It is a business decision as much as it is a free football decision. Even though the situation may look uncertain right now, there is a positive history between Cowboys and their target players. In this past, the team has often signed the players to long-term deals after using franchise tag, and this happened with the Dak Prescott and DeMarcus Lawrence and Dizzy Bryant. Because of this, there is still hope that George Pickens will eventually sign a long-term extension with the Dallas Cowboys. And Coach Brian Schottenheimer showed a strong confidence when he spoke about Pickens. It is said that Pickens loves being in Dallas, and the team also values him highly. According to the coach, there is a clear plan for Pickens to stay with the team for a long time. However, he also made it clear that the business side of the things needs time to be completed. Looking ahead of the next season, the Cowboys already have plans for how to use George Pickens on the field. One important idea is to move him around different positions This strategy allows the offense to become more flexibility and unpredictable. It also helps Pickens use his full range of the skills. During the previous season, Pickens had the chance to play in the different roles, especially when CeeDee Lamb was dealing with an injury. That experience helped him to grow as a player and understands the offense better. The coaches noticed that he enjoyed this freedom and performed well in those situations. Another important factor in this is connection with our quarterback, Dak Prescott. Building chemistry between quarterbacks and wide receiver is very important. It takes time, practice, and repetition. Schottenheimer mentioned that Pickens has already been working out with Prescott during the fourth season. This is a very good sign for the team, of course. When players train together during the